Hello and welcome to another episode of Wednesdays with WV. This is episode number 27. I've got a guest here who's done it all as far as cricket is concerned. She was a fantastic all rounder during her playing days. Then, once she finished with active cricket, she ventured into entrepreneurship. Then, as if that was not enough to keep her busy, she got into cricket administration, proved to be a beacon as far as women's cricket administration is concerned. She's been a part of the ICC. Oh, I'll get tired soon. I need to run this show. So I think I've given enough of an introduction. And the guest is none other than Shubhangi Kulkarni. Shubhangi, welcome and good to see you after a long time.
Thank you. Thanks, Raman. Thanks for having me on the show.
Let's kick off with how it all started, how people got to know you. Leg spin was always an intriguing art, but it's also very difficult. What made you take up leg spin?
To be honest, I was bowling medium pace when I began cricket. I used to bat and I used to bowl medium pace. And I realized that there was a lot of competition in medium pace. I actually would try out all sorts of bowling. I would bowl off spin, I would bowl leg spin, and I would bowl medium pace. So initially, I started off bowling medium pace, but then I realized once that, leg spin was very difficult to play for the girls. And at that time, there weren't too many leg spinners around. So I started bowling leg spin, and my coach kept giving me tips, and that's how I kept improving on leg spin, and that's how I started bowling then.
See, these days there's a lot of talk about adaptability. Those days, adaptability is something that would have been sparingly used. Even if it existed, it would have been a nascent stage. Was it tough times for a leg spinner?
Not really. At that time, like I said, there wasn't that much of competition, and I think I got it right from the beginning. So it didn't work out very difficult for me, and because I saw the results. Every time I bowled, it was difficult for the girls to play, and I think that is what encouraged me to, continue with that skill.
Much later, you became a captain yourself, but when you started off as a leg spinner, how good was the support you got from your captain?
I think it was brilliant. In fact, the first series, which we played against West Indies, the West Indian batters weren't very used to playing spin bowlers, and leg spin was absolutely new for them. So in the first inning itself, I got 5 wickets, and that was very encouraging. I think throughout the first series that we played against West Indies, I got quite a few wickets, and that encouraged me to continue bowling leg spin.
Your batting numbers seem modest, but I know you are far better than what your numbers suggest. Why is this anomaly?
I don't know whether I think when I bowled leg spin and I was probably more successful at that, maybe I didn't, focus that much on batting. It would have been much better today. In hindsight, I do think that I could have focused more on batting and not just the bowling.
Yeah, I've heard from your contemporaries you are a far capable batter. That's why I asked. Your numbers are not really matching your ability.
No, I think in fact the inning that I played in England, where I guess I played better when the situation was. The situation required me to bat better. So there was this situation in England when we played the first Test match there, where we were 104 for 5 and maybe about 114 for 7. And that's when I had two debutants with me. One was Minoti Desai and there was Manimala Singhal. And that's when I got my 100, and both of them got one of them got 50s. So I think that when the situation arose, I guess that's when I focused more on my batting.
Give me a landscape of how things were then. Obviously, there's not much money, obviously, in men's cricket as well at that time. How much of self drive did it require for women to play cricket then?
Initially, it was difficult for some. I was very lucky to come from a family which supported whatever I was interested in. But I know there were many girls who were not encouraged to play at that time, and in fact, they had to, actually fight at home to play cricket. And there were many times when I, as a captain, would go to their houses and convince their parents that their daughters were good enough to play for the state and that they should travel with us. So in those days, women's cricket wasn't considered to be a good career to take up, and it wasn't meant to be a woman's game, So everybody thought it was men who should play cricket and not women, and so it was difficult for some of them. But then, if you see, there were many of us who got support from home, and that was the beginning of women's cricket in general.
Tell us the societal pressures prevailing then. Obviously, there would have been a lot of pressure from home for girls to get married, settle down, and also the society also would have not really encouraged women playing cricket.
Yes, there was always, so let's say when the girls went in their whites to the grounds and all, people would look at them, and so there was some of them who would tease them, some of the boys would tease them, but it wasn't a common thing to do, Playing hockey was fine, playing badminton was fine, but playing cricket wasn't what was done at that time. So yes, there were people who would, tell parents not to send their girls to play cricket because that wasn't meant to be a woman's game. But yeah, we went through that stage, and we are now where we are.
Did stardom exist then? Shubhangi Kulkarni, Fauzi Khalili, Shanta Rangasamy. Did you all enjoy the stature of superstars then?
I think a few of them did. So in the initial stage, there was a lot of publicity, and particularly when we played international cricket, like when we played against the Australian team and the New Zealand team when they came to India. At that time, a lot of newspapers carried news items. Actually, we had a very dynamic secretary that time who founded the Women's Cricket Association of India. And he was Mr. M.K. Mahendra Kumar Sharma. And I remember him going to each of the, press offices and giving the news items and the score sheets. So I think a lot of good work was put in at the initial stages in the first 4 or 5 years when women's cricket began, and some of the names became household names at that time. So when people talk about Shanta Rangaswamy, Diana Idalji, Sudha Shah, or Fauzia Khalili, there was Shobha Pandit, Sandhya Agarwal. There's so many. I'm going to miss some of the names, but yes, they did become popular at that time.
So, like I did, I just mentioned a few names that just came off the top of my head. But if you were to do things again, would you do the same things? Must have been a satisfying journey because you did a lot of things connected to cricket.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been an exciting journey right up till here, and I've been very fortunate to be associated with the game first as a player, and actually right since we were playing, we did get into administration, So although officially I got into administration much later, I know at that time it was the beginning of women's cricket, and we had to help around quite a bit in, let's say, organizing tournaments or arranging for funds. And in fact, I remember us even going to the grounds and helping to prepare the ground sometimes, like laying out the mats and rolling the wickets and, stuff like that. So it was all exciting. And I was very fortunate to be associated with the sport, first as a player and then later as an administrator. Fortunately for me, my business also keeps me engaged in cricket itself. So it's all what I love to do.
As an administrator, there's always a lot of challenges, but in your case, the biggest challenge would have been raising funds to keep the game going. Just give us a rundown on that.
I don't know where to begin because, like I said, when we were playing initially, when we started playing, I remember at that time, there weren't too many sponsors for women's cricket, and so I remember practicing in the morning and in the evening. And during the day, we would go to, meet some sponsors, or, get contacts where, we would find people to actually fund our tours, So that happened right since I was playing. Later on, when I became an administrator, I saw the balance sheet of the Women's Cricket Association of India, and to be honest, I knew my work was cut out there, because we were in the red at that time. And I did spend a lot of sleepless nights, particularly when international events were organized. So from what I recollect, the initial tour that I organized, I had a friend, who took the media rights for the entire series, So so the first series was taken care of well, and that felt good. But then the second series, when again I went back to some of the sponsors, they probably didn't think there was that much of publicity that they got. And that is when I struggled a bit. And that's when I realized I spent a lot of sleepless nights, because till we found a sponsor, I was wondering where the funds are going to come from, how I was going to, manage the expenses of the series. There were times when I would think that I would have to dig into my personal finances, which we did at some stage or the other. And we had to put in our own money, and then later on we were able to repay that. But I did spend a lot of sleepless nights during those days.
Yes, the thing is that you are always far-sighted and driven. You must have also had a lot of detractors. You must say that. You must accept.
Yeah, like there were people who kept on telling us that, we are not going to get anywhere. But I think we were all so passionate about the sport. A lot of us believed that, women's cricket is going to be big. And I think the best part of it was we had a lot of skilled players. So when we competed against, let's say, England, Australia, New Zealand, which were the better teams at that point of time, skill wise, we were really good. So batting and bowling, I think our spinners were the best, and our medium pacers also were good. So batting, we were very skilled. I think the couple of areas which we could have improved on was fielding and fitness, or running between the wickets. So when we competed against the other teams, we knew we were good, and we felt like we can come out on top. And that's what kept us going. It was the passion for the game which kept all of us at that time, going.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Carrying forward about your far-sightedness, you also embarked on sending a under-21 team to Pakistan, wasn't it? And that must have been quite tough to do those days.
Yes, actually, I'd taken over as secretary of the Women's Cricket Association of India. And actually, when I decided to contest the elections, I knew our team can be the best, and that is, I had a plan for women's cricket at that time, which was to grow the game at the grassroots level, to increase the domestic matches, and then of course the international matches, because if you play more of international matches, that's what is going to make your team better, and that's where you can attract sponsors also. So at that point of time, raising the standard of our team was important, and I felt that for the junior girls to be ready for the senior team, the best thing would be to send a junior team, particularly to countries like Pakistan and Sri Lanka, who at that time were not as good as us. And Pakistan actually was just an upcoming team at that time. And I spoke to the president, and she wanted to host India in Pakistan. And we felt at that time that, sending the full team would be a one-sided event, So we decided to send the under 21, which worked out well for us because I was very keen that, the younger girls get an opportunity to play international cricket, or, get that experience so that they are then ready for the senior teams.
As a representative of the ACC, you are a part of the ICC committee as well. How much could you achieve to promote women's cricket in this neck of the woods?
As a chairperson of the Asian Women's Committee, I was again fortunate to be there when women's cricket began in the Asian countries. So when we were playing, or just a little after that, it was only Pakistan, Sri Lanka, and India playing cricket. Later on, when Asian Cricket Council started a women's committee, we encouraged the sport in the other associate countries. So at that point of time, even Bangladesh didn't have a women's cricket team. And we had a development committee in the Asian Cricket Council, and we spread the game in the non-test playing countries. We had a tournament in 2007 for the non-test playing countries, but we did include Bangladesh in that tournament, and Bangladesh, of course, came out tops. But the good thing was, in that tournament, there were other countries which got encouraged to start playing cricket. So we had teams like Nepal and China and Hong Kong, Malaysia and Thailand. And then later on, of course, we had UAE and Oman and the Middle Eastern countries also joining. So it was great to see all the non-test playing countries in Asia take up the sport, and being there to initiate the sport in these countries was a very satisfying experience. I was happiest when Thailand made it to the T20 World Cup in 2020, I think. So you see the growth in Thailand as far as women's cricket is concerned. And this started in 2006, 2007, when the Asian Women's Committee started women's cricket in those countries. So it's been a very good experience there, and I was really happy to be part of that.
How did the rest of the world see the cricketing prowess in the subcontinent? Were they ridiculing the cricketing fraternity in the subcontinent, or were they very encouraging?
India generally was encouraging after the beginning, and India had a good team. Like, we were always in the top four. But I think Pakistan probably may have had a little bit of, they may have had some challenges. Sri Lanka was also not bad. I mean, there were people encouraging them to play. But in some of the countries, it was a challenge to encourage girls. I was very happy with a country like Iran when they came to play in the Asia Cup, and so these girls were not. They were fully covered, So they said it was easier for them to play a game like cricket because they could wear full sleeve shirts and full trousers, and it was only their hands and face which was shown. So they would cover their heads, and it was very exciting to see them come and participate. They were fierce competitors, but coming from a country like Iran, it was good to see them participating and enjoying playing cricket.
You had to show a lot of grit, determination, and bring all your persuasive powers to bear to convince the BCCI to take up women's cricket. You must be proud that it happened.
Yes, it initially there was a bit of reluctance, but in 2005, when the International Women's Cricket Council and the International Cricket Council they merged, it was a mandate to all the countries to have just one board and both men's and women's cricket under the same umbrella. Initially, there was a bit of reluctance, but then later on, we had Mr. Sharad Pawar as president, and yeah, he at that time convinced all the entire board to include women's cricket. And once that happened, I knew once we came under the BCCI umbrella, the facilities for us would be much better. So initially, when we played, we would play on matting wickets or college grounds, and I don't recollect playing too much on turf wickets when we were playing under WCI. But later on, like I knew the grounds would be available for the girls, like the Ranji Trophy grounds would be available for the girls. So the facilities would be better, and there was a bit of a gap between us and the other teams, which was Australia, New Zealand, and England. I used to think that gap would be bridged if we had better facilities, and I think that's when the merger actually happened. I was very happy it happened.
WPL coming in, is it a case of Armstrong landing on the moon movement for women's cricket?
I think it is huge, and I'm sure that and many girls have been waiting for this to happen. And we have leagues in the other countries, but we've been wanting this for a long time. This is definitely going to help us tremendously, particularly the domestic players playing with the international players, and I'm sure they will learn a lot. I mean, there's a lot to learn for everybody, and the exposure that the girls will get because of the WPA is going to take us to the next level.
Now, women's cricket, from where it was and to where it has come now, WPL is also come in. Now, the current day cricketers, are they aware of all the work you did relentlessly, all of you, the former cricketers? Are they aware of it? And do they recognize the efforts of yours is largely responsible for what they're enjoying now?
I wouldn't know that. I think we should talk to them, but I do hope they do know, because I think times are so different now. Like when we traveled, we were traveling in second class unreserved compartments, and staying in dormitories, and we are playing on college grounds on matting wickets and all. I don't think the current lot of players has ever seen that, So I do hope they know they value what they have now, and they take advantage of all the benefits that they have currently.
Let's get to the other side of it now. Your generation of cricketers, now things have exploded in terms of facilities, infrastructure, frequency of cricket played in international cricket, and also now the money is bound to grow. Uh, do they feel that they missed out, or there is a bit of rancor, bitterness, or jealousy amongst the older generation of cricketers?
I don't think
It has
so.
happened in men's cricket. No, it's happened in male cricket. So
Mhm.
there is
Uh,
every possibility that
I think quite a few of us are very happy to see the game where it is, and we've seen what has happened in men's cricket. I know in the older times, like men didn't get paid the way the current lot is getting paid. So we've seen that the evolution. The same thing has happened with women's cricket. We are really happy that women's cricket is where it is now. I'm sure some of the older players do feel like it'll be great to give them some of the benefits, and so the BCCI has started a pension scheme for the test players, and I'm sure they'll be considering it now for the domestic players also, like what they have for the men. So I'm quite sure at some stage it is going to progress into that. But yeah, at this stage, I think we are very happy with what is happening in women's cricket right now. I think the best thing is that the girls are going to get equal pay, match fees, and the WPL. So generally, there's a very positive feeling amongst women cricketers, ex and current.
it's a remarkable coincidence. WPL starting in women's cricket's 50th year. Was it designed or it just happened? I think it is a coincidence, isn't it?
I think it is a coincidence too. So, but it's great that it is happening this year. And yeah, like I said, these couple of good things that have happened is real good news for women's cricket. It's good days for women's cricket.
For those who are not aware of what we are discussing now, it's very simple. Women's cricket, I think, started in 73, 74. So 2023 could be the 50th year, isn't it? Have I
Yes.
got it right, or is it different?
Yeah, it is the 50th year. So 73 is when the first interstate competition was held. This was in April 1973. In fact, that year we had two interstate competitions because there was so much of interest from different states that they wanted to have the next competition soon. And that's how in 1973 itself we had two interstate competitions. So yes, this is the 50th year.
With money, fame, and adulation likely to increase with each passing year, the girls definitely need to be mentored, isn't it?
I think so. I think they do need to be mentored. It's not just the finances, but there are a lot of expectations, and girls want to get selected, but then if they don't, there could be some setbacks. So managing finances, yes, is one thing, but also managing their emotions, I think that also is another important aspect which I think we need to now start thinking of.
Shubhangi Kulkarni is a member of the Ethics Council of the BCCI. How well has she embraced that role, or how well has the role embraced her?
I'm really happy to be in a position where I can make the suggestions. Since I'm not the only person there, it's like everybody has to take a decision. It has to. I'm happy to be in a position where I can make suggestions and I can be heard. And yeah, hopefully this is going to be a good stint.
Another thing that must be really pleasing you now, as a former leg spinner yourself, is the success of leg spinners in white ball cricket, isn't it?
Yes, I think in the last few years, the leg spinners in fact, every team is probably looking for a good leg spinner, and it is you find a lot of girls taking up to that skill, which wasn't the case earlier. I think it's a little difficult skill to pick up, and but I do see a lot of girls trying to bowling leg spin now.
You are regarded as a very balanced person, so I need an honest answer for this question. What does Team India need to do better in international cricket?
Um, I've been saying this for a long time. I think we've got all the skills. We've got very good batters. We've got world class batters, and we've got world class bowlers. The one thing that I think we need, it's a mental game. And if you see, we've been losing matches by 10 runs or 12 runs. So I guess it's in the mind. So I do think that. Uh, the playing, running between the wickets, the dot balls, and fielding is one area which, yes, we do need to improve on. But besides that, I guess it's all in the mind. We've got the skills, and it's just a matter of time that we cross the line.
Yours has been a life which has been full of success, achievement, accolades. And how satisfied is Shubhangi Kulkarni? You couldn't hear?
Sorry, I missed that in between.
Your life has been really fantastic. You had a lot of success. You achieved a lot of accolades you had in your life. How satisfied are you?
It's been a satisfying journey. It's not yet over, but up till now, it's been wonderful. I've been very fortunate to be doing something that I love doing, both as a career as well as my hobby. So I am in a business which is related to cricket, which is something I love. And then I've been in these different positions where I've loved doing whatever work I have over there. So it's been a satisfying experience till now, and hopefully the rest of it also turns out to be the same.
My question was in no way implying that you're done with cricket. No, I was just asking you. I know you still have a lot to contribute. Where do you see Indian cricket in 2026 or 2027?
I think Indian cricket is on the right path right now. It's last year we started the under 15, which was one domestic tournament which I thought we really needed to get young girls to take up the sport, and to actually start competing. So last year we started the under 15 tournament at the BCCI, and now that we have the WPL, and of course we've been playing a lot of both international cricket as well as domestic cricket. The under 19 team, if you saw, the preparation for the under 19 team was good, and that is, I feel that we winning the under 19 World Cup was because we were well prepared at that time. So I think in India we are doing all the things that are required for our team to reach the top. So I do feel like in this year, I mean, it's just a matter of getting there. I think these are good days for Indian cricket, and I see the game progressing, not just not just with the elite team, but even at the grassroots level. The kind of interest that is we are seeing with young girls. We have parents who are encouraging the girls to come and play the sport. So I have a cricket shop, and we have a lot of fathers bringing their daughters to buy kits, which is a very positive sign, and it shows that the girls are being encouraged to play. So I think these are good days, and I see Indian women's cricket just on an upward graph.
Another thing which is a prerequisite for the growth of women's cricket is attracting women customers to the game. What do you think needs to be done as far as administrators are concerned to bring more women into watching cricket at the venues?
If you see in the last the series against Australia, we had very good crowds, and from what I hear, they have been allowing girls to enter free when it comes to international matches. So I think that is one way of attracting girls to come and watch the game. The other thing is also, I think, marketing. Like basically maybe projecting some of our star players.
Sorry, can you start the answer from first? We lost you on that audio. Sorry about that.
So BCCI...
Just the answer. You just started.
Yeah. BCCI has already taken the initiative of allowing women to enter the stadiums free of cost, and I think that is going to help. We have most of our matches now on television, and there are many women now watching, and actually the girls have become household names. So I think the initiative has already been taken by the BCCI to encourage girls to come and watch.
Yeah, it's all right for guys to come to a venue and compromise on a few things. They can adjust in certain ways. But do you think the amenities need to be improved for women to come on a regular basis to the venues?
We have talked about that briefly, particularly now when some of the stadiums are going to be renovated, and yes, that is one concern which is being addressed. So we will have now, better facilities for the women when they go to watch the matches.
Thank you, Shubhangi. You enlightened us on a lot of aspects of women's cricket, as you did to ensure that women's cricket also was followed by everybody keenly through your columns in Sports Star. And thanks for readily accepting to appear on this show and provide all the insights that you did. It was lovely chatting to you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Raman, for having me here.
That was Shubhangi Kulkarni enlightening us on all the aspects of women's cricket, not only on the domestic front, but also at an international level. I'm sure that you would have all enjoyed this particular chat, given that women's cricket is gathering momentum. For those who joined us for the first time today, I'd request you to subscribe to this channel and also press the like button. And to view all the earlier episodes that we have put out here on this platform, please go to the handle of Sportstar and have a look at them. I'm sure it'll make for some very good viewing. And as I always say, till I catch up with you next week, take care and be good.